Welcome to Catholic Messenger Conversations podcast. Today's conversation with Bishop Dennis Walsh focuses on a bunch of things. First retreat with bishops in California, lucky you. And also he had made his first visit to the Iowa State Penitentiary in December and to the Iowa City Catholic Worker, in Iowa City, where he celebrated Mass and listened to some testimonies from folks. So I thought we should get this conversation rolling on all three topics.
Great, sounds good.
Okay, so Bishop, where'd you stay in California and with your fellow bishops on retreat?
We went to Prince of Peace Monastery in San Diego. It's near the ocean. It's up over on the hills above the ocean, so you can look out the chapel and look over past the hills and out into the ocean. So beautiful monastery in Benedictines, and so we joined the Benedictine community for their prayer life. Benedictines are committed to chanting all the hours of the Liturgy of the Hours as the official prayer of the Church, and it's prayed regularly by the monastic. It's prayed by every priest and religious sister, but the Benedictines especially are committed to chanting it throughout the day and keeping the day holy. So we joined the Benedictines for all their prayer times, and we had conferences with actually an abbot from the Benedictine community in St. John's Collegeville in Minnesota. So he was our speaker and presenter for all of our talks. So we had 2 conferences a day. And it was all week. So it was a very nice time.
Was it very spiritual then, I'm assuming?
Yes, it was all about prayer.
Okay.
And it was related particularly on our ministry as bishops, and maintaining a life of prayer, and in the midst of a busy ministry and vocation as bishop, as well as understanding the challenges that bishops face in their ministry as well.
So who were the bishops? Were they from just Iowa, or were there?
So
other
the
bishops?
United States is divided up into regions. So Davenport belongs to Region 9, or Iowa belongs to Region 9. So Region 9 of the bishops includes Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska.
Okay.
All 4 states. And at the retreat, there were 13 of us at the retreat. So.
Wow. So did you find that as a very restful time? Was this something you really needed at this point?
It was very. Most of the bishops of the country go on retreat during this week.
Oh, okay.
So all the other bishops were somewhere else in the country on retreat.
Okay.
So it's something that's part of the structure of Episcopal life. But it was a nice time to get away after Christmas and all of that. So it was just nice to get away. So. Oh,
that's good. And the purpose of the retreat was specifically spiritual.
It is spiritual, yes. So there's it's not. Generally, when I've done priest retreats in the past, it was maybe one talk and interspersed with a lot of recreation, but this was pretty much all spiritual in terms of conferences and liturgical services, Mass, and Liturgy of the Hours.
So you didn't have any time to take your surfboard out?
We didn't. There were a couple hours in the afternoon for a walk or something. One afternoon we went to the San Luis del Rey mission. It's one of the original California missions. So one of the monks drove us over to see that. It was very impressive to see that. So.
Did you have any inkling of the fires that were wildfires raging in
just
Los
Angeles? Just a haze over the ocean. But other than that, we only got the information from the newspaper.
Okay.
But there, if you look out at chapel, looking out over the ocean, there was just kind of a little bit of a haze over the ocean. So.
Wow. So did you keep your eye on the news while you were out there?
Oh, yeah, I read the news every day, and I also had access to internet. So
I
take my laptop, and sometimes in the afternoon I would do some work. It's keeping up with email, otherwise it would have been
just insurmountable, right?
When I got back. So I said to try to keep up with it all throughout the week. So
did you have any hopes or expectations going into the retreat, or?
I did not. I had no idea. What was difficult for me is I didn't know the other bishops.
Oh, okay.
At all, just a couple of them. So it was not knowing what to expect. And they've been coming to the same retreat house for 30 years, so
Oh, wow.
it was pretty comfortable for them. They all knew where everything was, and I didn't know how to get from one place to another, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was learning all of that stuff as well. But that was probably the worst part of it, is just not knowing where anything was or where are you supposed to be and what the schedule was. And they've had the same schedule for 30 years. So
But soon enough, you'll be old hat, and
That's
it'll
right.
be,
That's right.
you'll teach those new guys coming in, right?
So, yeah.
So, and I was wondering how. So, did the retreat exceed or meet or fall below your expectations? Except you didn't really have any expectations.
Yeah, I didn't really have many expectations about what to expect. I mean, I've been on retreat before, and like I said, it's a little different than most clergy retreats that I've done, where it's recreation interspersed with spiritual talks.
Yeah.
This is pretty much all talks and conferences and all of that. So
Okay, I always have to ask about the food. Was the food good?
food was good. Yeah, so we had bacon every morning, which was great.
Oh, good. I was worried they might have had fish and vegetables.
No, they did have fish one day, but it was,
And you just sacrificed
I
your.
did, but I probably ate more vegetables that week than I have any other
okay.
time. So
Okay, that's good for you, Bishop. And I'm just wondering, any insights that you took away from the retreat, or is there anything?
Abbot John Klossman, who was he's a biochemical. He's a doctor of biochemistry.
Oh, wow.
He taught at university level for many years, and then he was elected abbot of his community. So, great speaker, very holy man. So he's very fortunate to be there to listen to him. But I would say his last hope was his last message was one on hope, and it really was a powerful message about in the midst of a world that is sort of all sorts of things going on. Is how do you maintain hope in your ministry as bishop? And
Oh,
it was just
wow.
a wonderful conference. So.
Oh, that's great. So very uplifting. If you had an opportunity to organize a retreat for your fellow bishops, where would you choose to hold the retreat, and what would be the focus?
Gosh, I think it would be terribly intimidating to be giving a retreat to my brother bishops. And even as a priest, it's always difficult to preach in front of your brother priest, and it's and one of the bishops said that also at the conference. He said the thought of preaching in front of a bunch of bishops is very intimidating for them. So I'm just a new guy, and I just thought it was me that would be intimidated. But he said it's a pretty common feeling for bishops is how do you preach to your brothers, and so. But I don't know that I've given it much thought in terms of what the topic would be, but place, I would say at this time of year, any place warm.
That's right.
Would be
yeah.
great, and I've always liked South Florida, so that would be wonderful. I think Texas and Arizona might be too hot, but
Yeah.
so
I could see South Florida. That would be nice. That would be pretty nice.
San Diego was nice, but it's very congested, and traffic was just driving back and
okay.
forth was just awful. So
Oh, wow.
I couldn't do that every day. So,
And then I was wondering, there was something else I wanted to ask you about that. Celebrating Mass. Mm-hmm. Did you take turns, like the one being the presider and the others, concelebrating, or how?
so
did
we
that
all
work?
we all concelebrated. So it was the regular monastery mass.
Oh, okay.
So there were about 20 monks at Prince of Peace. They have a large number of lay people who come into their mass every day. So we just took that mass 10:30 each morning. So one of the bishops, and we had the opportunity to sign up back in December if we were interested that we could be the presider at the mass. So this being my first year, I didn't sign up for mass.
Okay.
I mean, I celebrated the mass. So
And did the presider give the homily then, or?
presider preached as well. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear some good homilies?
Some good, some
Some didn't land the airplane, right?
some didn't. Some are still trying to find the airport. Yeah,
That's funny. Awesome. Oh, that sounds great. Well, I want to move on to another topic, and I'm thinking, why don't we start with your visit to the Iowa State Penitentiary in December? Now, what was your experience with ministering to inmates before you went to the Iowa State Penitentiary?
Yeah, before I went to the Iowa State Penitentiary, so as a seminarian, a couple years before my ordination as a priest, I used to work at the Washington, D.C. jail. So that was one of my seminary ministries, and we had to do at least 15 hours a week in our ministry. So I worked at the Washington, D.C. jail, and so I had a supervisor. So I had a supervised ministry in the D.C. jail. So that was my first exposure to jail or prison ministry.
So you were in prison 15 hours a week, or in the jail?
In the 15 hours a week.
I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of time. So you got to. What was that like?
So in D.C., I had the status as a assistant chaplain. Usually residents of the jail would send in requests. Oftentimes it's dealing with issues of grieving the loss of a loved one, and very difficult when they're in jail. How do you grieve in a healthy way, being cut off from the family, and sometimes as chaplain you were asked to make arrangements to see if they could have an escorted visit to the funeral or to see the body and so forth. So it was the chaplain's office that was responsible for organizing all of that. So
wow.
So and sometimes you'd go into the units and just talk to some of the residents. But most of the day was filled with responding to requests. That they would send a request to talk to the chaplain, and that would be most of the job.
And what were your impressions of that? Was that fulfilling, or was it frustrating?
It was very fulfilling. It was very fulfilling ministry. There's great need. I think residents in the jail system, prison system, have a sense of being forgotten, even by those who are part of their families. And so they don't. And most of it's part of regulations, as they can't get regular visits, and it's a lonely life for all of them. So one of my units that I was responsible for was the infirmary, so visiting the prisoners on the infirmary. So.
Oh, wow. So was it hard to leave that in the jail, like when you would leave and go
Part of the ministry was information was called theological integration. So there was an opportunity to get together with other students who were preparing for priesthood, and you'd usually write out a whole incident and do a critical incident report, and what did you learn? Where did you see God in this? Where did you? So
that's cool.
So rather than just be a chaplain in the jail, you had the opportunity to process emotionally and spiritually what in our Catholic tradition helps us make sense of the situation that you just encountered. So
that's kind of Ignatian, isn't it?
It's very and it's good to do some theological integration, so that theology is not just some abstract thing that we study, but it's that we can see the church's theology in ordinary situations and circumstances.
Oh, that's cool. So tell me, how did that experience? And how many? So how often did you do that? You did it once. I mean, so was that?
So I did it for a full year, a full school year.
Okay.
So probably September to May.
Okay.
Every week. So we did that. So.
And then throughout your priesthood, did you visit jails or not, or prisons?
Usually in parishes.
Okay.
It's mostly jail ministry rather than prison ministry.
Okay.
We did, and when I was in Ohio, in one parish, we did have a regional jail, which was probably the jail for maybe 10 counties. So it was a pretty large jail system. So we would have masses up there as
neat.
well. So
did you go? Did you make a regular?
Yep, I took my rotation. In my last parish, we had a Bible study group in the county jail as well.
Oh, that's neat. Well, did you look forward to that?
I did. I always enjoyed jail ministry, and people are always they're hungry, and it's a great group to work with. So
they're kind of a captive audience.
They are, and I think they appreciate the opportunity just to get out of their cells, and to be able to do something that
Yeah.
is productive in terms of just growing spiritually and emotionally. So.
And so what was your experience like at the Iowa State Penitentiary? That was like December 18th, and you celebrated Mass with the inmates. How did your previous jail visits shape or your approach to this visit?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect in the Iowa State Penitentiary, but it was a small group here. But I was touched by the sincerity, I would say, of the residents who came, and a real desire to be there. And I found them to be very, very prayerful and spiritually hungry. And I think they. It wasn't just, and I have been at masses in other jails where it was just an opportunity to get out of the cell, but I didn't get that impression at all with the men that came to our service, the liturgy that we had in the jail. So I didn't get a sense that they were there just to get out of the cell. I got those that were there because I think they wanted to be there, and I think they were very sincere in their participation in the liturgy.
And each one wanted to talk to you, didn't they? They wanted to reach out to you.
One left early because I think he had another thing that he had to beat. He scooted out after midway through Mass. But the others, they stayed around and talked afterwards quite a bit. So
yeah. And so what did you take away from that experience? Or what was some of your lasting impressions?
My lasting impressions were, because I see them probably not at their worst. I mean, most of them have been there for a number of years. So I suppose had I known them when they were first in prison, or even when they were in the trial process, or back even in the jail, I probably would have had different impressions of them. But I did get a sense that most of them were very sincere and even, I would say, contrite. Probably regretting past actions that led them to being in the jail, and sort of resigned to that this is their life now. And there seemed to be this sense of resignation about their current situation,
Yes.
And as priest, as bishop, it's how do you convey a message of hope that even in the midst of this resignation, where is Christ in the midst of all that? Where is the love of the Father and all that? So
Exactly. And I think they were so appreciative that a bishop, I mean, I think that's really important, the idea that someone who is so busy and is in charge of a lot of, or the spiritual leader of so many people would come to see them. So was that something to you?
Well, I'd say I think they were very appreciative, but it's also very humbling for me to be able to get away from the office and doing all the office things to get out and do some real ministry was really a blessing for me, and very humbling to be able to be received. And they were so genuine in their gratitude, and it was just.
And how did you prepare your homily based on that particular audience?
I based it on the readings from the lectionary, and the reading for the day was on Saint Joseph, and so I preached on Saint Joseph in the notion of that in all sacred scriptures, Joseph never says a word. There's no word that Joseph is ever recorded to Saint Joseph, but Joseph, by his actions, demonstrated his care for taking care of Mary and Jesus, and in the flight to safety to Egypt and so forth. So his actions say a lot. They say a lot about the love of the Father, and Joseph is a real example of fatherly love. And oftentimes, I think in many people's lives, I think our fathers probably have the most difficulty expressing their emotions to us, and however they've always been present to us. And I think, as I was talking about fatherhood and Joseph, I think many of them recalled, I think, their own fathers, and who probably faithfully visit them at the Iowa Penitentiary, and I think maybe they've had a greater appreciation for the sacrifices that their fathers especially have made to be there. And even though they may not always express affection very well, and that's probably the case with many men, we struggle in that whole area of affection and affirmation and so forth. I think the fact that a father would come to a place like the Iowa State Penitentiary and to visit their sons is a powerful message.
Yes. I wonder, I never thought about this, but I don't know if some of them were fathers themselves, perhaps.
Could be as well, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to know how they relate to their sons. I wanted to ask you about another visit you made, and that was the Iowa City Catholic Worker. I don't know if you visited both of the houses in Iowa City or just the one?
Just the one.
The one on
yeah.
Sycamore Street, I think. And then you listened to testimonies afterwards. Can you tell me about what that experience was like? What did you go into it? What were your expectations going into that experience?
I've always been impressed with the Catholic worker movement, and just in New York, when I was in New York, they have a house on the Lower East Side. They have a couple houses, I believe, in New York City. So I've always been familiar with the work. I think Dorothy Day, her story is quite inspiring, and it moves a lot of hearts. And it's someone who walked the walk, in terms of living her convictions and living them in a very profound way. So there's a great witness to the work of Catholic Worker, and we're fortunate to have them in the Diocese of Davenport. So it was a great pleasure for me to be able to go. I don't know, I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd never done a Mass at a Catholic Worker house, and they crammed a lot of people into the living room.
Sure did.
It was a very informal Mass, which is new for me as bishop, because most Masses I do, I'm followed by 5 or 10 people who help me, and multiple servers and all sorts of formality. But it was great to be able to celebrate a very informal liturgy, and with people who came from all walks of life, people who were there to support the work of Catholic Worker, as well as people who were living at the house there and trying to put their lives together, and also people who were past residents of the house as well. So it was great to see all these people, and all of them had their stories, and they gave great testimony about the ministry that Catholic Worker has done for them in their life. And hearing the testimony of people, especially who have immigrated here to the United States, is very inspiring. The great sacrifices that they have made to flee, many fleeing difficult situations, if not dangerous and deadly at times, real threats to life, in an effort to save their families.
And they had several asks for you. Mostly being, what do you tell your people? How are you going to respond to their concerns about, threats of mass deportation, about the state of Iowa, taking action to... It's
very, very humbling to hear. So there was a gentleman from Mexico, and so to hear him say, that we expect the church to protect us, and it's and knowing that, it's very limited what we can do, the response that I've made is that we will continue to advocate for them, and we bishops in Iowa are meeting legislators, and I think the first week of February. I think we're going to be up there for what we call legislative days to talk to representatives and senators. I believe we're trying to get a meeting with the governor to express our concerns about this. So, it is going to be painful for there's going to be victories, and there's going to be some failures as well. So, some people will probably be deported, and but we have to have the constant witness of the care for the stranger among us, and to care for those who are in our midst, and they're here in very difficult situations. And I think if more and more people heard the stories,
Well, and you urged them.
I would think it would change hearts.
Yes, you urged them to share their
I
stories
did,
in
yeah,
parishes.
yeah. I just think I think most people, their impression of the whole situation is drawn for them, is illustrated for them by the media. So the media, whatever ideological position the media presents for them, whether they're conservative, whether they're liberal, that's what they believe. But I don't know that the vast majority of citizens of the nation, and Iowa in particular here, know any real stories of real life people and the dangers that they faced in their villages and towns, and they're here to save their life and the life of their families.
Yes, exactly. So, what was your takeaway from that evening?
It was just wonder. I would say, first of all, the hospitality of the whole community. What was extraordinary, in that these people who have very, very little were there and sharing, and there was a great sense of joy and celebration, even with everything hanging over their heads right now with
Right.
any potential changes that are coming. But so I would say the takeaway was a sense of joy in the midst of difficulty in life, and everybody has difficulties in life, but there was a great sense of joy in the room, even knowing that things in the future may not look so bad, or it may look bad,
And they really seemed appreciative of the Iowa City Catholic worker movement that
Very,
they
very
had their
much,
backs.
and the people who are ministering at the Catholic workers. So there was one person who had an immigration hearing, and someone said, can someone go with me? And the Catholic worker people said, we will be there with you, and we will go with you, and we will be there with you, and so it was just good to see.
That's really cool. So now let's see. You've been here in our diocese, for 4 months? About 4 months?
Probably at the 110-day mark. So
110-day mark.
so.
Any other lasting impressions or first impressions as we're finishing up this month's podcast?
I don't know that people have any. It's probably the question I get most is, what do you do?
Okay.
So, but I get weekends to go out into the parishes, and those are the things that I enjoy doing is meeting people. I do miss being pastor of a parish community, and I'm a little bit envious of pastors who continue to work every day in the life of a community. And as bishop, I don't have that one community. I don't have that core group of families that you've known for 10, 15 years, working with them and celebrating with them and marrying their kids and baptizing their kids and first communions and confirmations and all those things. So those are the things that give a pastor great joy. But as bishop, I don't get those things. So I look forward to those little glimpses that I get when I go into the parishes on the weekends. So, but most of my week is pretty administrative during the rest of the week,
You're fielding a lot of calls and emails
and everything else,
and letters and
yeah.
people wanting something from you, right?
Yep. So,
But are you getting used to that, or is it just part of the?
it's a bit to get used to.
Well, and you celebrated that you were on that the journey of hope, that procession from St. Anthony.
Oh, for the Jubilee year, yes.
For the Jubilee year.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty.
Yeah, that was it was good. I mean, it was great. I mean, good crowd of people at the cathedral, and a lot of people joined. Some people just stayed at the cathedral, but I thought there was a good crowd of people who joined the procession up the hill and to the cathedral. So.
Yes, and the weather was pretty fair for
it was
a
decent.
walk, right? It wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Bishop, thank you so much for another conversation, and we'll look forward to next month's conversation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.